This entitled parent is about to call the police on this internet cafe, simply because they refused to do something for her entitled bratty son. But what did the police have to say about this situation? Happy birthday if today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. So I'm a university maths teacher, and every semester you'll get a few students who just put zero effort in, and surprise surprise, they fail the subject. University policy is that if they're failing after 4 weeks of classes, we send them an early intervention email, and we tell them to come and speak to us if there's some kind of issue or extenuating circumstance that's causing the problem. Other than that, it's entirely up to the student. They're adults, they're supposed to be responsible for their own progress. So last semester I get one of these students. I reach out to him 4 weeks in, and he doesn't respond. I sent him a second email in week 5, strongly urging him to come and see me before he falls too far behind, and again, I get nothing back. In week 6, I give him one last chance and offer to run him through the course material that he's missed. If he just agrees to come and see me. Nothing. Fine, your funeral. Semester ends and you're never going to believe it. He fails. A few days later, I get a phone call and I'm told it's the student's dad. We'll call him EF. Side note, this happened a couple of months ago, so I'm paraphrasing a bit. Hello, this is my name.
Yes, hello, this is his name. Student's father. I would like you to explain why my son failed your subject.
Sir, your son only submitted 2 out of 7 assignments and did very poorly on the exam. My records reflect that he only attended 1 of his 20 lectures and didn't view them online. I tried to reach out to him a couple of times and I encouraged him to come and speak to me, but I never heard back.
If he was doing so badly, why weren't we informed?
Sir, this is a university, not high school. We don't reach out to parents when a student is failing. The students are supposed to be adults, and we treat them as such.
Well, that's a freaking stupid policy, isn't it?
Sir, if you swear at me again, I'm hanging up this phone. I made every effort to help your son, but he refused to accept it. It's not my fault that he failed.
Bullcrap, it's not his fault you're an awful freaking teacher!
I hang up. A few days later, my boss comes into my office and tells me there's been a formal complaint written about me, and that the complaint had suggested I be let go and replaced with someone more qualified. I had to provide evidence to the dean that he made zero effort and that I tried to help him. Nothing bad came of it, but it made me very angry and was a huge waste of my time. For the record, I only taught half the subject. It split into algebra and calculus, and I, a woman, only taught the calc part. My counterpart, a man, never heard from EF and no complaint was written about him, despite the fact that the student well and truly failed both parts of the subject. What's with these parents who are super passionately involved, but way past the time when they're supposed to be? If you're a parent who's involved and cares about the results of your kid, maybe do something before the fact that they've failed? Or better yet, teach them responsibility so that they can take care of themselves. Don't just go blaming the teacher because you or your kid didn't actually put in the effort. The backstory. I live in New York City, and I work as an employer at a small, unpopular internet cafe. I've been a worker at that cafe for 6 months. Everything was smooth. Cha-ching, real smooth. Until 2 weeks ago. Can't believe people like this even exist on the planet. So, here's how it happened. So it was around 7 in the evening, where it was the peak of people. Mostly teens, but okay. They came here and played games. Even though it was at the peak time, it was like less than 20 people in there, when ED and his little brat came. Now please note that the little brat is less than 16 years old and not allowed to be in our premises. So I try and inform the entitled dad about the policy. The following conversation ensues. Greetings, sir. May I see your son's identity card, please?
Why?
You may not have noticed, but our policy states that your son needs to be at least 16 years old to be in here.
He doesn't need to. He's mature enough to be here.
Okay, what's your intention to be here?
I wanna play CSGO.
Okay, you can. ED cuts off.
What's the price for an hour of usage?
But I need your son's ID.
Why?
To ensure he is 16 years old.
Do I need to repeat again? He is mature enough to be here. Furthermore, he plays like a professional. He deserves to be here.
Okay, what's your rank in CSGO, mate?
Silver 1.
Okay, let me tell you something straight, sir. Silver 1 is the lowest skill group, not high enough to be called professional. And without ID, you can't use our computers.
But I want to play CSGO! You heard it. He wants to play it, give it.
Sir, with all of my respect, your son needs to prove that he is 16 years old. I will not let your son, or even you, to use our computers if you don't show us your ID. Do I make myself clear, sir?
Okay, frick you! If my son can't play, neither can the other people. I'm going to call 911 for promoting illegal activities in this premises and for assaulting my son. This way your cafe will be shut down.
Okay, go ahead. Just to inform you that our cafe is legit and registered, so I can assure you that no illegal activities is taking place.
I want to see your manager.
Why would you want to see my manager when instead you can call the police to file a complaint about our illegal activities?
That's it, you're gonna get it from me.
He then leaves the cafe while calling on his phone. I'm still waiting for the police to come to our internet cafe. This kid might have an entitled dad, but hey, at least he's proud of his son's skill at video games, right? Most parents are like, hey, quit playing those video games, get outside and see some sun. So does this make the dad a good dad or bad dad for supporting his son playing so much video games? Alright, so I just came back from being one of the caretakers on a summer camp with exactly 88 people on it, 90% being children under the age of 14. On the camp, kids couldn't have their own phone, and they could call their parents during an hour and a half after dinner from their caretaker's phone. In my group there were 9 kids, so we gave everyone about 10 minutes on the phone, so that it's fair. In the cast is me, entitled kid, entitled father, and nice kid. So I was sitting in my tent, reading a book, my phone being given to EK about 20 minutes ago, but I thought she just passed it further to other kids, since they sometimes did that when I was busy. But then NK comes to me. Excuse me? Yeah? EK doesn't want to give me or anyone the phone. I haven't called my mum yet. EK, but I gave her the phone long ago. She should be done by now. NK says nothing and I just go searching for EK to take the phone from her. After, I don't know, 5 minutes, I found her sitting on a tree branch, which she wasn't allowed to do, by the way. Hey EK, could you finish the call to your parents? Other kids also want to call home. No, I'm not done yet. And then she came back to chatting with her dad through the phone about some silly stuff. EK, other kids want to use the phone. But I'm not done yet. You had it for almost half an hour by now. That's short. No, that's a third of the after lunch period. Well then it's too short. EK, give me back that phone. And also get off the tree this instant. No! To the phone. Dad, you're trying to take the phone away from me. After a few seconds, EK started going off of the tree, and I thought that her father placed some sense into her head, but oh how I was wrong. EK shoved the phone in my face and said, Dad wants to talk to you. Confused, putting the phone next to my ear. Good afternoon, mister?
Why are you not letting EK use the phone? She really misses home and she should be able to talk.
So this phone is used by all the kids in my group and they miss home just as much as EK does.
No, my wife, EK's mother, is lying in the hospital for a week now, and EK wants to know exactly how she's doing and needs comfort.
Now I've known EK's mother for some time now and I was 100% sure I saw her on the train station, even helping EK carry her heavy backpack, and that was only day 3 of the camp, so the mother couldn't have been in hospital for a week. Mr. EF, I saw Mrs. M on the train station. To that, EF kind of shut up and after a moment of silence, he just said his goodbyes to me, and EK had hung up. What kind of person do you have to be to lie that your wife is in hospital just so your daughter can use the phone a bit longer? Now if there was like a genuine emergency or something, you would just tell them that and I'm sure they would understand. And if it was really as serious as it was, why would you be like, alright, your mother's deathly sick in hospital, but go on to camp? There's just this arrogance as if, oh yeah, no other family has any issues going on in their life. Our family is what matters, and that's it. Okay, so when I was younger, I used to bowl in both leagues and in competitions. So even 10 years after, and a long time of not bowling, I still know how to understand lane patterns and conditions. So yesterday I was at home bored and I thought might as well go bowling, so I grabbed my stuff and went to my local bowling alley. The place is somewhat full, so I had someone next to me. At first, they seemed alright, a mother and 2 kids about 7 and 8, so I sit down and get my shoes, wrist brace, and my 3 bowling balls on the holder. I start to get ready, stretch out my arm, and do a couple warm-up throws without the ball to see if everything feels right. So I start going. I'm not doing the best, but it's the 6th frame and I'm at 85. Then this started. Keep in mind that I bowl with 2 hands. If you look up Jason Belmont, he is what I look like.
I guess you have been bowling for a while.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So that was what I thought was the end. So I keep going on my first game and I finish with 167. Not my best score, but around my average. So I get going with my second of 5 games. I start and my first 2 frames are strikes. And while I wait for EM's kids to go, she comes up to me and this begins.
I can tell you've been bowling a while.
I was just out trying to escape the heat. It was 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Do you think you could help my kids?
If they want a little help, I can offer some small pointers, but I don't think I'm good enough to help a lot, especially how I bowl.
Oh yeah, I saw you bowling. How do you do it?
It's just how I've always known. It's just natural for me.
Okay.
So I bowl some more and finish my game, and I finish with 206. This is a good game any way you put it, but I guess it was too much for EM. She walked over to me as I'm getting some water, so now here's where the drama starts.
You just don't stop, do you?
Once I get into a rhythm, I just go.
You sure are good, but look at my kids' scores. They're just halfway through and only have about 40 points.
Well, it's just practice. I remember when I was like your kids, but after I practiced, I got better.
Yeah, but look at your screen. You still have 3 games to go. I'm just worried that if you continue with how you are going to make my kids feel bad. And look at your lane. You have so much stuff and my kids just have the rental shoes and balls.
Well, I've just been doing it for a while, so I have some stuff. Maybe when the kids get older, they can have their own stuff.
You still didn't answer my question. Can you keep your score lower, like below 100, so my kids don't get upset?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to bowl and get whatever score I get.
Come on, it's just a couple of games.
Sarcastically. Actually, sure, I'll keep my score low.
Thank you so much. You're going to make my kids' day.
If you give me back the money I spent on my games.
Pardon me?
Well, if I'm going to throw away the games for you, you can at least pay me back what I am losing.
I'm not going to do that. That's absurd. Why would I do that?
Well, I guess not. I walk back to my lane. So I start bowling again, and every time I get a strike or a spare, she just glares at me. I finish my 3rd game at 170. Before I can start my next game.
Okay, I'll do you an offer.
What?
I'll pay for your games.
No thanks. That was a one-time offer.
Come on, it's bowling for free.
Yeah, without any fun or challenge. I go to start my next game. Now she's just giving me a dirty look after every frame, no matter what I got. After that game, I went to get some water, and I saw she started to get up, and I thought, here we go again.
What's the matter with you? You should listen to what adults have to say.
I snapped. First of all, I am an adult, so I don't need to listen to your crap. And second, the way you get better is by practicing and watching other people. I'm not going to bow down to you or anything because you're older than me, because that is what you think of younger people. I know what you are doing. You're trying to pull the older card to have someone who is too afraid to stand for themselves do your work. I'm not going to listen to the crap you have to say, so go back to your seat and get off your high horse. After that, I walked away and started my last game. The only thing different was that she wouldn't even look at me. I think I finished that game with 160-ish. As I was packing up my stuff, her son came up to me. Hi, just wanted to say sorry about my mom. It's not a problem at all. Okay, bye. I don't know what it is about bowling. I know the food is ridiculously overpriced, but for some reason it's like the best tasting food while you're bowling. I get the idea that this mum is the sort of person that when they're at some sort of family gathering, she'll ask their uncle to intentionally lose a game to them, just so that her kids feel good, because I guess pushing them to actually achieve better is somehow a bad thing, and because she probably gets away with doing that all the time, now when she's actually out in public, she's surprised when other people won't just bow down to her requests. Your kids are never going to succeed in life if they never have to struggle and try and achieve something. As the hero of the story said, that's how you get better at something, by practicing and watching those who are good. So I just got a puppy a week ago. He's a Blenheim-coated Cavalier King Charles Spaniel named Kovacs. He's my baby, and I've never been more in love than I am with my fur son. So my mum works at a farm goods store with a pretty fantastic pet section. They're very pet friendly, and since my puppy is really well behaved in the car, as is my mum's dog, we brought the dogs along. She went to the back room. While she's gone, I go get our dogs a treat and some water at the cash register from her co-worker. After that, I go to look in the pet section to see if there are any toys we can get them. 2 pups chewing 1 toy brings it out commission pretty quickly. The dogs sit and then lie down, letting me browse. Here is where the trouble starts. I'm trying to pick out the toys that each of the dogs would like the best when I feel a tugging on Kovac's leash. I look over, thinking he's got to sniff around and possibly leave the store to do his business. Instead, I see a 5-year-old picking up my puppy by his harness with a rough tug. Stop that. You'll hurt him like that. I take the dog from him.
No, I won't.
He's my baby. That means you need to be gentle.
Let me pet him.
No. CG immediately starts wailing. Karen storms over, looking like a half-orc that had just been woken up with an arrow shot to the shoulder.
What did you do to my angel?
I didn't do anything. CG through sobs.
She won't let me pet the puppy. And why not?
He was rough with him. He's still little. I don't want him to hurt my puppy.
He won't hurt him. Just let him pet him.
I already said no. Now please leave me alone. CG wails.
I want the puppy. Give him your puppy. You have a dog already. You don't need this one.
She reaches for my puppy. What? No. I take a step back, still holding Kovac's. My mother returns. What's going on?
Your daughter's been very rude and won't let my angel pet her puppy.
He yanked him up by his harness. I'm worried he'll hurt him. She gave you an answer. Now leave her and her puppy alone before I get the manager to talk to you. The store doesn't have security.
You're such a bee. No wonder your daughter is so selfish. Now give us the puppy to make up for both of your terrible examples to my son.
Mum calls for the manager by name. He doesn't hear, so her co-worker up front calls for him. The manager, a large man who looks intimidating, but is very kind once you talk to him. What's the problem here? This crazy lady won't take no for an answer because I won't let her crotch goblin. Karen gave me the most offended look I've ever seen anyone give. Pet my puppy after he was rough with him. She then tried to take my puppy.
She's lying. She stole my son's puppy and is now lying to cover her crime.
Okay, what breed is he?
Cocker Spaniel?
Wrong. He's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. I have proof he is mine in the car. Okay, hand me the puppy. I'll hold him while you go get the proof. My mum hands me the keys and I run to the car. I grab his papers from the glove box, feeling lucky I forgot to take them out when we got him a few days earlier. I go back in and show the papers. Manager to Karen. Ma'am, leave now or I'll be forced to call the police. Karen, realizing she's been beaten, slinks away while dragging CG with her. Submit your story to be read on the channel at voiceyherestories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.